Yes, we can stay lean year round while making gains. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And this is something that it took me many years to accept. Again, took me over 20 years in the iron game because you guys remember when I used to be at higher body fats than this, and I'm still actually getting leaner right now. I'm still in the middle of a cut while this is being filmed, all this footage. So the thing is, it's something I've observed based upon my clients, based upon studies. When I take some of my long-term clients, and that's when one of the interesting observations, when it comes to the whole bulking and cutting. When I've had clients who have had 3 or more years who are fairly advanced lifters, who do struggle to gain weight because they eat healthy, right? When you have people with a lot of muscle, they're physically active, and they do eat pretty clean year round, weight gain and bulking is actually very difficult for them. Okay, it's very difficult. And if you guys remember client Doug, just for him to gain weight, and he never really lost his abs, by the way, he had to eat ice cream every day. So that was an example. But I've taken clients like Justin and others who have a six-pack year-round, but they struggle to gain weight, and partially because they have a lot of muscle and they live healthy lifestyles and they train a lot, but they still make gains. And that's been the fascinating thing. People say, well, slow gains though, but it's like, okay, so you take Justin, it took us 4 years to put 100 pounds on his squat, right? It took us 4 years to squat 500 pounds from, doing about 405. In that same time, we put about 80 pounds on his deadlift. When people look at that and go, well, that's good and everything, but it could have been faster. But the thing I would say with that, could it have really been faster and for him to not have bulked up really fat? Probably not. Probably not. And that's an advanced lifter. So, you take someone like that as an example, and what's been the end result? He still made gains. We're talking about a guy who's around 185, with a six-pack year-round. He's not short. The guy's like 5'10", 5'11". Hey, he's probably 10% body fat. We bulked him up to that kind of really. But the guy has squatted 520 pounds and deadlifted 590. Okay? Now his bench is a little lower, around 315, but he's got longer arms, leaner guy. But that's a drug-free guy in his 30s. So that using that example, he's made gains. So that's the thing when it comes to staying leaner. People say, well, you don't really make gains if you do that. But the research shows that you do. Real life shows that you actually can. What you don't do is gain all that extra intramuscular boof, because, when you're bulking, you get boofier, all that super compensation, all the extra water, all of that. Yeah, that can account for some leverages. It can make you look bigger, but are you really bigger? And I'm going to say probably not. Not really. And I used to fight against this idea, and that's something I would tell people. We don't need to fight against that. There's no reason a person can't get down to, they can recomp their way down leaner. If you're still a noob, you haven't finished all your noob gains. What I mean is, as a man, if you can't bench 225 for a couple reps, squat 315 for a couple reps, you know what I mean? You probably, if you still have more body fat than you want, there's no reason you can't slow cut or even recomp down to a healthy body fat or a leaner body fat at that sort of strength level. And then after that, yeah, you're probably going to have to just focus on lean gains. But people can absolutely do that. You can focus on lean gains from there. It's that it's going to be very slow, and people will say, well, that feels too slow. Oh, I'm only putting on 3 pounds of body weight per year or something. But the time is going to pass anyways. And realistically, do you really think you're going to gain much faster than that? And that's kind of the point I would make versus staying close to maintenance and making a very, very slow upward trend in body weight. It's not going to be a big difference, meaning it might be an extra pound of muscle per year if you were to actually, bulk more, but then you've got to trim it off. And then you're going to spend half the year not looking how you want to look. again, the thing I've observed is it is absolutely possible. People make gains, it's just that it feels slow. But here's the point I would make. If year after year after year, you maintain your abs and you just make nice, slow, steady progress, and let's say it's only 80% of the progress you could have made, but you never lose that. You see where I'm going? So if you gain 3 pounds of muscle per year instead of 4, that 1 pound of muscle, is it worth the extra body fat gain? Well, if you care about your physique and looking better year round, probably not. And that's the point I'm making. People are like, well, you don't make gains, you spin your wheels. No, it just might feel like it when you're only gaining 3 pounds of muscle a year after your first few years. But it's not really wheel spinning. So, I mean, a perfect example, you take someone like Justin, who's done that. Like, man, his bench is only going up 5 pounds a year. Yeah, but his squat's going up 10 or more. Deadlift's going up 10 or more. But he gets more jacked and more dense and has a better physique every single year. Because the guy's probably recomped during some of those years. It's like, man, he only gained 1 pound of body weight, but his body fat percentage went down and his lifts went up a few pounds. But that's still progress. Okay, that's still progress. And again, I want to be clear when people talk about the wheel spinning versus what? Slightly faster gains? And it's not that much difference. And that's even what the research shows. Right? You look at those studies and people are like, how do they even calculating a 3% surplus? That's what they calculated versus a 10%. Yeah, so that 3% surplus means these are people literally gaining half a pound or less per month. But they gained the same amount of muscle as the people on the 10% surplus. This is what's been done in studies. Literally the same amount of muscle, but without the fat gain. And again, studies show that recomposition is absolutely possible when you're not ultra lean. Even advanced athletes in studies have shown recomp if they're above 10% body fat still. Right? If they're 12% body fat, there have been clear studies with DEXA scans showing advanced athletes are able to make small amounts of recomposition in just a couple of months, 2 to 3 month studies. It's small, but the point is you don't actually have to gain body fat to get close to your maximum gains. To be within a stone's throw of it, as long as there's a little bit of an upward trend. Even if it's just 3 pounds a year, you will have gained muscle. And in fact, if it's 3 pounds a year, for some people, you may lose that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.